So, A Lamp in the Dark, that video, that quote-unquote documentary claims that the Dark Ages were called the Dark Ages because nobody read Scripture, Christian Scripture. This couldn't be any more untrue. It's a lie. The Dark Ages were coined in the Renaissance, comparing the time that preceded it to the time that the person was living in then. I forget the name of the man who coined the term Dark Ages. Not to mention that the Christian church was suffering much persecution and was still making strides, even though it had much to combat with. The Christians were still reading Scripture. Another lie about the Dark Ages is that I've heard this on Bill Maher. Bill Maher is a comedian, so you can be forgiven for it. Seth MacFarlane actually seems to believe this. He's repeated it. He's repeated it on his cartoon Family Guy, and there is an episode without Christianity. We went to a universe where Christianity never existed. Therefore, sciences were never stunted. Again, patently false. Christianity did not stunt the sciences at all. In fact, the reason why we have the sciences today is directly due to the church and its influence on the world. Just compare Europe with China. Why did China, which was much more technologically advanced, not have science, basically, scientific method, things like that, until the West got there? But the most ridiculous thing, those things people can fight me on there, and there can be little wars, but this cannot be disputed. The Dark Ages, when Christianity ruled the world, Christianity did not, the Dark Ages did not come about because the church ruled. They came about because pagan tribes, like the Vandals, the Visigoths, the Huns, the Avars, the Alans, the Lombards, the Franks, the Anglo-Saxons, Jutes, invaded and de-Christianized areas, and they did this by mass slaughter. Britain was Christian, Britain being southern part of the British Isle, and it was Christian. But when the Anglo-Saxons got there, the Anglo-Saxons and the Jutes, they de-Christianized it and started worshiping Odin and Thor, and it wasn't until centuries later that Christian missionaries got there, or it started to Christianize from both sides, from the Celtic Church and the Latin Church, found interest in Christianizing it. And then when it became Christian, the Vikings came in, started destroying civilization again, and the last holdout was Edward the Confessor, and it had to be again retaken. So there's a lot of lies about the Dark Ages, it's just silly. I'll go more into the Lamp in the Dark, which is an evangelical movie. They also rip on the Church Fathers as if the Church Fathers were trying to suppress the Bible or suppress true Christianity, which obviously it's done by people who either haven't read the Church Fathers or are deliberately lying, which I wouldn't put it past the money-making, scheming, propagandist evangelicals that believe to be Christian you should be anti-gay, and that I'll do another video on that, where I don't know why being anti-homosexual now is that seems like the most important issue for the churches of America, which seems crazy. All right, peace to you.